ever pull up to the gas station and feel like you're playing a guessing game? One day it's one price. The next day it's shot up. Or maybe, if you're lucky, it's dropped a few cents. You're not imagining it. Gas prices in the USA really do change every single day. But why? What's the hidden truth behind those constantly shifting numbers? It's a question that affects millions of us, hitting our wallets every time we need to fill up. In this video, we're going to pull back the curtain and break down exactly what makes those prices so volatile. It's a complex mix of global markets, local competition, and even the weather. By the end, you'll understand the forces at play and why that number at the pump is never static. So, buckle up. We're diving deep into the world of gasoline economics. First things first, we need to talk about the main ingredient, crude oil. Think of crude oil as the raw material for gasoline. Its price is the single biggest factor influencing what you pay at the pump, making up over half of the total cost. But the price of crude oil isn't set by some guy in a back room. It's determined on a global stage, the world market, where it's traded like stocks or gold. This market is incredibly sensitive. A political conflict in the Middle East? Prices can spike. A new oil discovery in South America? Prices might dip. Major oil-producing countries, grouped together in an organization you've probably heard of, OPEC, can decide to cut or increase production, which sends ripples across the entire market. So, any major event, anywhere in the world, that affects the supply or the perceived future supply of oil can change its price instantly. And because oil is traded daily, its price is in constant motion. This global volatility is the primary reason why the base cost of gasoline is always okay, so global crude oil prices are the big one. But that's just the start of the journey. Once crude oil is purchased, it needs to be turned into the gasoline our cars can actually use. This happens at refineries. Refining is the second largest component of the gas price. The cost of refining isn't fixed either. Refineries have to shut down for regular maintenance, usually in the spring and fall. When a major refinery goes offline, the overall supply of gasoline temporarily shrinks. And just like with any product, less supply with the same demand means prices go up. Unplanned outages are even more disruptive. A fire, a technical failure, or a hurricane hitting the Gulf Coast, where many U.S. refineries are located, can knock out a significant portion of our gasoline production capacity overnight. This creates a sudden supply shock, and prices at the pump can jump dramatically in response, especially in the regions directly supplied by those affected refineries. Another interesting wrinkle is the different types of gasoline blends. You might not realize it, but the gasoline you buy in the summer is different from the gasoline you buy in the winter. In the warmer months, we use a summer-grade blend that is formulated to evaporate less, which helps reduce air pollution and smog. This summer-grade fuel is more complex and expensive to produce than the winter-grade blend. Every year, refineries have to switch over their production from winter to summer blends, a process that usually happens in the spring. This transition period can be bumpy. It temporarily reduces the gasoline supply as refineries adjust their equipment, which is why we often see a predictable price increase every spring, just as the weather starts to get nice. Then, in the fall, they switch back to the cheaper winter-grade fuel, and prices tend to ease a bit. So, the time of year itself plays a huge role in the price you pay. Now, let's bring it closer to home. After the gasoline is refined and blended, it has to get to your local gas station. This is where distribution and marketing costs come into play. Gasoline travels through a massive network of pipelines, on ships, barges, and finally, in tanker trucks. The cost of all this transportation is baked into the final price. If a major pipeline has to shut down for repairs, or if there's a shortage of truck drivers, it becomes more expensive to get the fuel to the stations. And that cost is passed on to you. But here's where it gets even more localized. Once the gasoline arrives in your town, the individual gas station owner has to make decisions. They're running a business. After all, they have to pay for the land, the building, the employees, the credit card fees, and all the other overhead costs. This is the marketing part of the price. The profit margin for a gas station on fuel alone is actually very thin, often just a few cents per gallon. That's why they work so hard to sell you coffee, snacks, and other items inside the convenience, Store, that's where they make their real money. And this leads us to the power of competition. Right on your street corner. Why can the gas station on one side of the street be 10 cents cheaper than the one directly across from it? It's all about business strategy. Some stations, like those affiliated with big box stores like Costco or Walmart, might use cheap gas as a loss leader. They're willing to make very little, or even lose a tiny bit on each gallon, just to get you in the door, hoping you'll then go inside and spend a lot more on groceries or other goods. An independent station owner down the road can't compete with that strategy. They have to set their price based on their direct delivery costs plus a small margin to stay in business. Gas station owners are also constantly watching each other. If one station drops its price, the one next door often has to follow suit to avoid losing all its customers. This micro-level competition can cause prices to change multiple times in a single day as stations react to each other's moves. Then there's the government's piece of the pie. Taxes. Every gallon of gas you buy includes federal, state, and sometimes even local taxes. The federal tax is a fixed amount per gallon, currently 18.4 cents. But state taxes vary wildly. States like California and Pennsylvania have very high gas taxes, while states like Alaska and Missouri have much lower ones. This is a huge reason why gas prices are so different from state to state. These taxes are generally used to fund road construction and repairs, so you're essentially paying for the infrastructure you're driving on. While these tax rates don't change every day, they set a baseline price floor. No matter how cheap crude oil gets, the price can never fall below the total tax amount. These taxes add a significant chunk to the final cost and are a stable, yet substantial, part of the price equation. Let's not forget the simple law of supply and demand. We've talked about supply issues from refineries and global markets, but demand plays a huge role too. When does everyone drive the most? Summer vacations? Holiday weekends? Like Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Thanksgiving. During these peak travel times, demand for gasoline surges. And with higher demand, sellers can charge higher prices. It's Economics 101. That SYULL almost always see prices climb in the weeks leading up to a major holiday. On the flip side, during the middle of winter, in a non-holiday week, or perhaps during an economic downturn when people are driving less to save money, demand can fall. Lower demand can lead to a surplus of gasoline, which can cause prices to drop as stations compete to sell their inventory. This seasonal and economic ebb and flow of demand adds yet another layer of daily and weekly price movement. So, let's put it all together. The price you see on that giant sign is not just one number. It's a stack of different costs, each with its own volatility. It starts with the daily price of crude oil, which is constantly changing on the global market. Then you add the cost of refining, which is affected by seasonal blend changes and unexpected shutdowns. Next comes the cost of transportation to get the fuel to your area. After that, the government adds its federal and state taxes. Finally, the local gas station tax on its small markup to cover its own costs and compete with the station across the street, all while responding to your local demand. It's a cascade of factors, from a geopolitical event halfway across the world to the business strategy of your local corner store. Each step in this long supply chain can have its price change daily, and the final sum of all those changes is what you end up paying. It's an incredibly complex and dynamic system. There's no single person or entity that sets the price of gas. Instead, it's the result of millions of transactions and decisions being made every minute of every day, all across the globe. From traders on Wall Street to the manager of your local gas station, everyone is reacting to new information. So, the next time you see that price has changed overnight, you'll know why. It's not a mystery or a conspiracy. It's a reflection of a vast, interconnected, and constantly moving global marketplace. Understanding these hidden truths doesn't make filling up any cheaper, but it does demystify the process and helps you understand the powerful economic forces that shape a part of our everyday lives. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this cleared things up for you. If you found this video interesting and learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the world around us. And I'm curious, what's the highest gas price you've ever seen? Let me know in the comments below. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.